right, greetings everyone. We want to
Hello.
have this discussion tonight on this burning topic of multiple intelligences. Now, this professor from Harvard made a claim in 2001 that says, now I want to throw some questions out there to you to find out how you feel about this theory that we possess multiple intelligences. But first, I want to find out, what intelligences are you aware of? Let's start with Amanda.
Hi, everyone. Okay, I know of interpersonal intelligence and verbal linguistic intelligence. For interpersonal, it's being self smart, knowing your strengths and weaknesses about yourself, self awareness actually, and about being comfortable with who you are. And verbal linguistic intelligence is when you're good with words, either written or spoken. It helps you to communicate well. People who are verbally linguistic tend to enjoy reading, writing, storytelling, teaching, listening, explaining lectures, that sort of thing.
Okay, okay, that's really good. I'm definitely recognizing some things in there. What about you, Sarah? What are some types of intelligences you know of?
Well, the night, the intelligence that I'm aware of are the interpersonal intelligence and the musical intelligence. Now, the interpersonal intelligence is kind of the opposite of what Amanda would have mentioned. While the intrapersonal deals with knowing yourself, the interpersonal deals with knowing the people around you and being able to gauge their emotions and communicate well with others. While the musical intelligence, basically the name starts to gives it away as being good with music and rhythms and stuff like that. So do you find people like musicians would be stronger in with musical intelligence? Sorry.
I am seeing that too. I know of quite a few people who have those specific intelligences. Even a musician, I met with him up to yesterday, and his ear is amazing for music, and I could never really truly understand that skill that he has in him. So I definitely understand what you're talking about. Mathana, what about you? Do you know of any other intelligences?
Yes, I'm aware of the mathematical and the spatial or the visual. Whereas the spatial is basically telling us about the objects that we see and how good we can remember them, And mathematical speaks of the logical process in which we analyze or solve problems, Yeah.
Okay, so I like you, Matana. I'm aware that you are very much skilled in maths and numbers are your friend. You have told me a while back. So I know that that intelligence definitely exists. And guess what? I happen to know of two intelligences myself. One of them is the bodily kinesthetic intelligence, which it says that people who are good at body movement and hand-eye coordination, dexterity, and so on, they have full motor control and the physical movements and so on. And you would find them more in dancing, you'd find them doing sports, and they're good at creating these crafts and things like that. I know I'm very much lacking in that because I have two left feet. And finally, I know of the naturalistic intelligence. These are people who they're very in tune with nature, and they love to explore the environment. They like to relate everything within their learning to nature. They have like a natural skill with plants and the outdoors and animals and camping and hiking and things like that. They really, really enjoy the outdoors. And that they develop those skills to further enhance their career, you find them most likely getting into being farmers and gardeners and things like that. So we have spoke about how many intelligences? About 8? Wow. Wow. So tell me something. Knowing yourselves, and I want to hear from each one of you individually, knowing yourselves, do you see that you possess one or more of these types of intelligences? Do you see that?
All right. For me, I can relate to the interpersonal intelligence. I'd say often I find that I learn best independently as I understand myself. For me, being self-smart may have its advantages and disadvantages. On the other hand, for the verbal linguistic intelligence, I can also apply that to myself because, for instance, if I read something, I'd be able to understand it better than if I were to watch a program about the same topic.
Well, for me, I believe that it might be a little bit of everything because I find myself being verbal linguistic, leaning towards the verbal linguistic intelligence in terms of being able to recall certain information and, perform in my exams. But also, there's this part of me that simply cannot function without pictures. It's hard for me to learn a concept. If there isn't pictures, it's hard for me to sit down and do an assignment or do research if I don't have like pictures at the side guiding me. So I find myself heavily dependent on the visual spatial. Unlike Amanda, I also find myself intrapersonal. I like to be alone and I depend a lot on myself. And because of this, I lack in the interpersonal. That's one of the intelligence that I hope to develop some more because it's really important and it's an aspect that I really need to work on.
I would say that I am a mathematical because I do think I can think critically or abstractly. I do like maths, so I would say it helps me a lot. I would see different strategies to different problems, even though there's one basic answer you need, but there are multiple ways that you could go about finding that answer. So that is where I think I'm most strongest at. I am not a verbal person at all. I think everybody could tell by now that I struggle a lot when it comes to being verbal. It is not for me, but hopefully as I continue my path, I get stronger in that area. I'm also a visualist. I think I am a visualist. I'm not too sure because I'm now getting aware of how strong I am in certain parts, So yeah.
Just talking about me, I think that I identify a lot with the visual intelligence, and I definitely identify with the linguistic intelligence. I am able to I write a lot. I love writing. I do love reading to an extent, but I mostly love writing. Do you agree then, with all this being said, do you agree then with Gardner's claim that there are multiple intelligences within us?
I'd say I agree, definitely. And although we as teachers may recognize that students' strengths we may recognize their strengths in specific intelligences, we should work to develop their hidden intelligences. Because it's there, it just needs to come up the surface.
Yes, I do agree with Amanda. I think as teachers, we do need to change our strategies or teaching methods in order to bring out the different intelligences in our students, because they can be performing well in one area or in one intelligence, but you never know what else they've got to discover or unleash upon us. So we must change our strategies if it is necessary in order to,
I agree with everything that has been said. I believe that Howard's theory brings a new perspective on the whole education system and the should I say the stigma that comes with IQ and just being paper smart all the time. I don't believe it's limited to that, because when you have an institution that's only based on paper smarts, you're actually limiting the other students of the school. And I believe that that needs to change. I wish that there was a teacher with knowledge of these intelligences while I was in high school to guide me, and I believe that as trainee teachers, we should go really keep this information at the back of our heads as we enter into our classroom environment and help the students solve, because they really do need the guidance.
That is profound. That is profound. All right. Well, this has been our panel discussion. Thank you all for participating. You made some really great points and you've been reading. So I know that you're going to do well in this course. All right. So thank you all for watching. And I hope that you will have learned something today.